You know what? This video isn't even scripted, it's just a spur of the moment thing. Imagine if we got this video to 1 million views, it could send a message to EA or just gaming companies in general that we are no, begging for Battlefront 3. Please. You know what? We don't even need Battlefront 3, forget it. Give us updates on Battlefront 2. Anything. Today is May the 4th, so you know what that means. Star Wars announcements. Now, recently, as I'm sure the rest of you loyalists find yourself going back to Battlefront 2 every now and again just to relive the experience, since it's really all we have, I hear a lot of people saying that Battlefront is dead, but if you was old enough to play the OG Battlefront at that time, in 2005, the concept of online was basically non-existent. So once you purchased the game, that was it. And I played an ungodly amount of hours on that. But what frustrates most of the player base is the fact that now it is absolutely possible to make updates on this game and there's just radio silence. To recap on why we didn't get a Battlefront from EA, for those who aren't in the loop or have just forgotten, Battlefront 1 and 2 were financial successes, but an absolute PR nightmare for EA and DICE due to their own mismanagement and greed with the license. EA always saw Battlefront 2 in the negative light, despite how much money it made. Taking out transactions or microtransactions hindered their view of the game, as its revenues were through sales alone. So they were extremely surprised to see just how much the Celebration Edition made when it came out. Over the year, people were leaving DICE to pursue creative freedom after years of not being allowed to pursue the projects they wanted to work on because EA said so. Those who left DICE were not only those who founded it, but those who also created the Frostbite engine, which is the engine that all Battlefield games and Battlefront games run off of. In 2020, EA and DICE were getting ready to produce their next title in the Battlefield franchise, 2042, and hired new faces to replace those who left. As the project was in development, the realization came that the game may not be able to hit its 2021 October release window. So instead of pushing back the project to give the devs at DICE more time with the game and an engine that is nutritious as well as being new user-friendly, EA made the decision for 2042 to be an all-hands-on-deck project with everyone who knows how to use Frostbite. They cancelled support for all current DICE games at the time, Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2, and pushed other studios like Criterion off of their Need for Speed project because they knew how to use Frostbite onto 2042's development team, since the game was trying its bets to reach that October 2021 release date. Dennis Branville, sorry to butcher the last name there, saw this news, and him with the rest of the Battlefront 2 development team had to close up shop and work on 2042 as well, but Dennis was still trying to push for a Battlefront 3 to be worked on after 2042. He and a couple of people brainstormed and made some prototypes, even having some game sessions where a party told the pitch of the game without any of the Star Wars theming, and it ranked to be one of the highest positive responses in DICE history. Dennis and his group pitched it to EA, where they quickly got declined, or denied if you like, and this was after 2042's release. And hearing they couldn't work on a Battlefront 3, Dennis and most of the Battlefront 2 development team just got up and left DICE. Some working in the new indie studios and others going to work on other Star Wars titles like Outlaws. So now that's where Battlefront 3 is left at. As of right now, DICE cannot work on the title as they are once again all hands on deck with their next Battlefield game, with more studios working on the revival of the franchise. DICE is not the DICE that made the... DICE right now is not the DICE that made the Battlefront 2 game in the past. So a bunch of fresh new faces who are just learning the engine, resulting in the game potentially feeling vastly different from the first two games. And in the eyes of EA, it's seen as a financial risk, since it comes with a lot of baggage caused by their own greed. The game needs to be everything, in my opinion, and then some for people to even start to look at it. It needs a full man-on-man Chatler around. It needs a full campaign, space battles, ground battles, vehicles, heroes, galactic conquests, capital ships, co-op. The list goes on and on and on and on. Might make a separate video on what updates I would want to see in Battlefront 3 as a minimum. But you never know. This video might blow up. I pray to God that it does. If there's any way to at EA or at any gaming companies and just say, yo, Battlefront 3, just spam Battlefront 3 in the comments. Spam it, spam it, spam it. Go crazy. We need this. Like, I've had enough now. Do you get what I'm saying?